Did you know that according to the North Dakota Department of Agriculture, there's 1.6 to 1.85 million feeder calves in North Dakota? Today I'll be showing you how we feed our calves using a feed cart and a tractor. I'll go over the equipment we use, how we load it, and finally how we feed it. My qualifications are to show you this. I've had cattle and I've been raising cattle and feeding them for most of my life. Grew up on a farm. Our feed cart is a Haybuster CMF 590. Stands for Cutter Mixer Feeder. The tractor we have is 8920 Case IH Magnum. We use this to pull it. To load it, we have New Holland bidirectional. We also have a payloader, but that has a bigger bucket, and this is better because it's more precise when loading. To put corn in, we have this gravity bin with an auger coming out of it that we use to directly deposit the corn into the feed cart. If you're gonna feed cows with this, you're gonna know a couple main parts of it. We have the PTO, which is the power takeoff, and that is gonna operate the screw of this feed cart. It is a single screwed feed cart, meaning that there's only one screw in there that's really mixing everything up. Also, there's a scale so you can see how much you're dumping and how much you're loading. This is the inside of the feed cart, and this is the single screw. These hydraulic lines go into the tractor, and you can use to operate everything on here besides the screw, which is powered by the PTO. This back part here is what you actually feed the cows using. This is the discharge. We can go up and down. The discharge has change, which works as a conveyor belt to take out the feed. There's also a gate, which you can lift and close to see how much grain flow you have. Moving on to the loading process, you're gonna wanna start your equipment up for 5-10 minutes, make sure it's warmed up, all the fluids are get going. And you're gonna wanna go over to your feed yard. Ours is over there, and we'll begin loading there. Once you come over to your feed yard, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is park your equipment in a way so that dust can't get blown into the tractors. The second thing you're going to want to do is flip your PTO on and turn the PTO RPM up to 900. That will get the screw turning fast enough so when you pour the things in, it'll mix well. Commonly, your PTO switch will be this yellow one. And then it is on engine RPM, so we're going to switch that to PTO RPM, and that's maxed out at 540 again. That's maxed out at 1,000. Then you're going to turn this up till you're at about 900. You ain't gotta be very precise, but just right around. You're gonna wanna turn your scale up like I've done, then you're gonna wanna zero it out. Then you can turn it so that when you're loading it, you can see how much you're putting it in. You wanna zero it out because you're gonna think of it as if it's completely empty. Yes, there's a couple hundred pounds maybe, but the scales on here are built for larger numbers and aren't too precise on the smaller one, so a couple hundred pounds doesn't mean too much. The first ingredient that we will be putting in the feed cart is this hay. It's ground up hay that we baled, prairie hay, so it's a big field of grass, loam grass to be specific. We're gonna put 550 pounds of that in the feed cart, and that comes out to about 7.75 pounds of hay per calf. The second ingredient we will be adding is this silage here. We're gonna put 675 pounds in there, which is about 9.5 pounds per head. Silage is chopped up corn when it's green using the entire stalk. Now you're gonna wanna put 213 pounds of corn in there. We are gonna do this by using the auger. I'm gonna flip this switch and watch the scale. We'll now get the other ingredients from that shed. The next ingredient is dried distillers. When you make ethanol from corn, this is the byproduct, and this is dried distillers. So we're gonna get 71 pounds of this, which are these 3 5-gallon pails filled. Our final product is Gain Smart. We're gonna put 10 pounds of this in this purple pail, which I have designated as a little white line. Gain Smart increases feed efficiency of the calf, which is gonna make it get more out of its feed. It also has all the nutrients a calf needs. Once you got your pails filled, that's gonna conclude filling them up in the shed. You can go then put them in the bucket and put them in the feed cart, and then you're done with loading, you can go on to feeding. Coming up to your pen now, you're gonna wanna open the gate, drive in, and get even with the bunk. Once you've pulled up even so that your discharge will have the grain evenly pouring into the bunk, first thing you want to do is open your gate so that that 2 is at that level. Then you're going to want to start the chains and start pouring out the feed and then drive along the bunk system. While you're doing this, you're gonna wanna make sure that your RPMs are staying at 900. Once you've reached to the ending of your feeding, you're gonna wanna close the gate. You're gonna wanna continually run the belt though, so that there's no grain in the discharge. And then you're gonna wanna put your discharge up and you're gonna pull away. We feed our cows twice a day. Once you've pulled out and you got your vehicle parked up, you can shut the gate to make sure that the cows don't get out. Then you can shut your tractor off after it's been cooling off for a little bit, and then finally shut your scale off. In conclusion, after showing you how we feed our cows, from our equipment to loading our equipment and feeding, I hope you guys have a better understanding of how your beef is fed.